So you want to play Sobek, but the only problem is you don't know how. Well, fret not, because I'm going to teach you how to build, how to play, and how to level Sobek all in my guide, so let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with Sobek's passive Blessing of the Nile, I'll give you the rundown. Every time Sobek basic attacks or uses ability, he gets 4 protections. This stacks up to 3 times, giving you a total of 12 protections for free, just because you're playing Sobek. Let's go ahead and get into his one. Sobek's one is a dash attack where he lunges forward and throws the enemies behind him. This is extremely useful for throwing enemies out of position and or saving teammates. Just as fast as you could save a teammate, you could also screw them over completely by throwing the enemy damage dealer into your all half health team. Don't be that Sobek who gets his entire team killed. Sobek's 2 is an AoE where he spins around and knocks up enemies. It's extremely annoying if used correctly, and it procs Manticore Spike, so keep that in mind. Sobek's 3 is a cone attack that reduces enemies' healing by 50%. It also heals you every time you hit it, and on top of that, it's really easy to hit. Sobek's ultimate is where he submerges himself in the ground and then erupts out of it, dealing damage to your enemies. You could cancel it and it'll do less damage, of course, but you could stay underground for 5 entire seconds, and each second you're under there, you regenerate 10% of your mana, so make sure you use it when you're low on mana. And let's move on to leveling. When leveling Sobek, you want to start with your 3, then your 2, and then your 1. Put any points you can into your ultimate. Max your 3 first, then your 2, and then your 1. Of course, that's really easy to remember, but let's move on to the build. Let's jump straight into the build with starter items. I like going Sentinel's Gift and upgrading into Sentinel's Embrace. Tainted Steel is valid because it's great against anybody who heals. It reduces their healing. And War Flag empowers your allies by giving them extra movement speed and attack speed. And it's really fun for just running down the entire enemy team and killing them all. It's a lot of fun. Next, I'm going Gauntlet of Thebes because it gives you a bunch of health and protections when fully stacked from assist, so it's great if you're playing with a hunter that's building stacks or whatever. It gives you an extra 50 magical and physical protections for building its stacks. Next is Emperor's Armor, where you get 300 health and 60 physical protections. It also lowers the attack speed of enemy towers and increases your tower or phoenix or whatever structure you're using attack speed by 50%. Next item I like to get is Mail of Renewal. Gives you 250 health, 15 HP 5, 30 physical and magical protections, and on top of that, the passive is awesome. Every time you get hit, you build a stack of protections. Once you hit the max stacks, which is 5, you get a big heal that immediately heals you for 50% of your health and heals your allies over time for the next 10 seconds, 15% of their health as well. It's extremely useful. Let's move on to Manticore Spike. Manticore Spike is really good on Sobek because his 1 and his 2 procs the Manticore Spike. It gives you 35 physical and magical protections, 300 health, and 20 MP5. It also drops a spike on the ground that lasts for 7 seconds. When an allied god picks up this spike, they gain a buff that causes their next ability to deal bonus damage equal up to 4% of their max HP. And of course, if you get this, it doubles the bonus damage and the duration of the buff, which is 15 seconds. Next item I like to go is Heartward Amulet, giving you 55 magic protections and 250 health. And it gives you the aura effect that increases your allies' magic protection by 15 and MP5 by 30. Of course, there is the glyph upgrade for 600 gold. I like to go Amulet of the Stronghold, which converts 15% of your physical protections into magical protections, giving you literal max protections on top of having a ridiculous amount of HP, 4.2k on Sobek, which is extremely annoying, and you are just going to be borderline immortal on top of having a ridiculous amount of protections. Other items I could recommend is Midgardian Mail, which is great if you're trying to counter any hunters or anybody who's auto attack oriented and just basic attacks you a lot. It lowers their attack speed and movement speed and is extremely annoying. Pestilence, anti-heal, I don't think I have to explain that. And Sovereignty, it's basically Heartward Amulet, but it's the physical version where it gives your allies physical protections and HP 5, of course. And Jade Emperor's Crown, I don't see a lot of people talking about this. It's really slept on. It lowers enemies' physical power by 15% if they're in your area. It's slept on. I don't see a lot of people building it, but it's really good. Relics I could recommend. Shell is like one of my favorites, of course. You could go Meds if you really want. Horrific Emblem is usually what I run next, but you could always grab like Frenzy or something, which is awesome. Don't get Thorns because it is the worst relic in the game. Don't be a bot. But if you guys like this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.